Bill, let's talk about the amazing debate last night. Who do you want to start with?
Now, why would you say the debate was amazing?
Because I don't think I have ever seen. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it on a couple of fronts. First of all, there wasn't a single candidate that said, "Well, now wait a minute. I grew up in a hunting family." They all now are just saying, "Yeah, we're going to come take your guns, and we don't have a problem saying we're going to come take your guns." The mask is fully off. I've never seen a candidate who is leading the polls who something medically is truly wrong with him. And I think it's the aneurysms that he has had. He just does not have a command of the language anymore. He gets confused fairly easily. And it's a little terrifying in a world where you have to be, on your game more than 30 minutes a day.
Okay, Biden is befuddled. There's no question about that. I thought he had a pretty eloquent closing statement, although there was nobody left to watch. Everybody had passed out long before that, about the trials in his life and that purpose got him through that. I thought that was really good. So I don't think he's totally,
Bill,
at the retirement home yet.
Okay, hang on. I agree with you, and I think let me just go through a list. Stu, give me the list of what is important to the Democratic voters today. When you look and you ask them to rank what's really important to them today, listen to this list, Bill.
Yeah, number one by a wide margin is ability to beat Donald Trump. 39.6% of voters said the top priority was beating Donald Trump.
Top priority for 40%. 40%.
And that's significant because the second place is healthcare at 9.9%.
Third?
Third, the economy at 8%, wealth and income inequality 8%. Climate change, 7%, gun policy, 4%, racism, 3%.
I mean, listen, their message is all geared in the 7 to 5%. And the reason why Biden is doing well is because people just think that he'll do well against Donald Trump. That's it. That's why I agree. That's why the press
so
is
Biden's
not
going to run on the Barack Obama nostalgia tour. That's clear last night that Biden didn't really have any solution to any problems, and he was the only one who basically said that Beto O'Rourke and the rest of them were violating the Constitution. You're not going to be able to seize anything by executive order. The Congress makes the laws, so you can't do that. That seemed to startle Mr. O'Rourke, who just got through blaming the massacre in El Paso on President Trump. He came across as a clown.
Beto?
I guess maybe the clown in that movie you want to go see.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but
yeah.
He came across as a clown. It was just, come on, is this a burlesque skit? What is this? I mean, the guy doesn't have any grasp of how the country runs. I'm going to do it. I'm going to take this. I'm going to do it. No, you're not. And Biden actually said that and got jeered for doing it. So basically how I see this thing is it was a very good night for Donald Trump. Okay? Because even though the president continues to shoot himself in every toe and finger he has by his lack of self-discipline, the alternative
Can I just stop you for stop.
What?
How do you, anyone who says anything like that, Donald Trump says, you're a loser, you're a two-time loser, you're a 100-fold loser, and yet you are invited to write a book about him. He invites you to come.
Me to write the book, Beck.
No.
And you're doing a Larry King imitation.
No. Wait. Do you think if I said those words and only those words, he would say, "Yeah, you want to write a book? Okay, come on, Air Force One. I'll spend the time."
No choice in the matter. I was writing a book whether I was on Air Force One or not.
I know that, but usually you'd write a book after saying something like that, and he'd be like, "He's a hack. There's nothing to this book." he actually participated with you on this. He actually answered
come
of your
on,
questions.
I'm telling the truth about the President of the United States. I'm not accusing him of doing anything heinous. I'm saying he lacks self-discipline when somebody tees him off.
Yeah, I know.
All right,
my point.
And it hurts him.
I know.
It hurts him and the country.
I know.
Right. So that's in the book.
Right. I know.
And then I explain how that happened to him.
Yes.
How that all evolved. But let's get back to he was the big winner last night. So what you have is you've got a field of Democrats who basically are looking at the camera and saying, I'm going to spend trillions of dollars, even though we have a $22 trillion debt right now. I'm going to add maybe $30 trillion more to save your life from climate change. And then Rod Serling goes, you're traveling in another dimension. And I'm saying to myself, we're true, which it isn't, all right? We're not dying in 10 or 20 or 30 years unless we have to listen to Beto O'Rourke every day. Then we'll all commit suicide.
Well, that's not going to happen. So tell me about your thoughts are on Elizabeth Warren. I know you wrote an op-ed on her this week.
Yes, called The Con, C-O-N, posted right now on BillO'Reilly.com. Dangerous woman. And she's dangerous because she comes across as a hip granny. All right? She's got the glasses, the little bob, and then kids go, oh, let's go trick-or-treating to Mrs. Warren's house. Yeah. And then they do, and she takes their stuff. She takes the candy away from them. All right? This is a woman who does not respect private property. That's the headline. Now, twice last night, she was asked direct questions. One by Jorge Ramos. Jorge goes, what would you do, Senator Warren, if a person overstayed his or her visa in the United States? What would you do? Warren didn't even come close to answering the question. Then the next question, I don't even know what's from.
You're breaking up.
Would you raise taxes on American middle-class families to pay for your massive health care giveaway?
Here's Stephanopoulos. Let's play that. Here's Stephanopoulos asking her that, and her answer. Warren doesn't say taxes will go up.
Direct question. You said middle-class families are going to pay less, but will middle-class taxes go up to pay for the program? I know you believe that the deductibles and the premiums will go down. Will middle-class taxes go up? Will private insurance be eliminated?
Look, what families have to deal with is cost. Total cost. That's what they have to deal with. And understand, families are paying for their health care today. Families pay every time an insurance company says, sorry, you can't see that specialist. Every time an insurance company says, sorry, that doctor is out of network. Sorry, we are not covering that prescription. Families are paying every time they don't get a prescription filled because they can't pay for it. They don't have a lump checked out because they can't afford the copay. What we're talking about here is what's going to happen in families' pockets, what's going to happen in their budgets. And the answer is on Medicare for All. Costs are going to go up for wealthier individuals, and costs are going to go up for giant corporations. But for hardworking families across this country, costs are going to go down, and that's how it should work under Medicare for All in our health care system.
So cost will go down. She didn't say that taxes wouldn't go up. She said costs will go down, but that's what Barack Obama said, that, you know, this system of Obamacare would reduce things by $2,500 for the average family, which was a total and complete lie.
Here's the con. Okay. Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, and all the rest of the Merry Socialist band somehow believe that they can go into corporate America and demand 40 to 50% of their profits be given to the federal government. They believe they can do that. What would happen would be all of those corporations would leave the country and set up overseas just as they had under Barack Obama. Trump brought them back by cutting the corporate income rates. That's why we have a robust economy. People like me and you, Beck, that have assets, I'm not going to sit here and allow Elizabeth Warren or Bernie Sanders to seize my private property, which has already been taxed. I'm going to move it out of here. So the flight capital between corporations and affluent Americans would lead to a depression in this country. That's the con.
You are exactly right. Now, I want you to take this, hold that thought for a minute, because I want to build on that and get your opinion, because you are spot on, exactly right. A depression will happen if socialists come in and start to say, we're going to tax you to death and we're going to take the wealth that you have already been taxed on and double tax it as well. We're going to move from a free market to a controlled and planned economy. It will collapse. Hold that thought, and we'll be back in 1 minute. Okay, Bill, I want to ask you a series of questions here, and I'll get to my theory, and then I really want to hear your opinion of it. One, if the economy goes south, Trump loses. Yes or no? I mean, if it really goes
harder
south.
for them.
Yeah.
The Democrats have two issues that resonate.
Mm-hmm.
The health care that we just discussed.
Yep.
And the guns that you just discussed.
Yep.
Both are attractive to a fairly large segment of the American population. Trump can get around that if the economy is robust, because the Republicans really haven't come up with any health care relief.
Nope.
Okay? They don't have anything.
Nope.
On the gun front, I do expect they'll make a few attempts to control maniacs from getting heavy weaponry, but it'll take a while, and it's not.
Yeah. There's nothing exciting except we are freeing the American people, and the American people are doing better than they have for a long, long time.
That's
lowest unemployment rate for blacks in history, all of that stuff, correct?
Yes, but also Donald Trump is a big opportunity now to go out and stop with the small ball and go to the big picture and say, look, your freedom is important to me, the president. I'm the president. And your freedom is important. And if you look at what this Democratic Party really wants, it's an erosion of freedom on every front. I just have a new slogan on BillO'Reilly.com. It used to be, take your country back. I've changed it to fight for your freedom. Because the far left in this country, which includes 90% of the media, wants to erode personal freedoms, not only on guns, but on every level. Every level. And if Trump can get that across, he'll be reelected. But I'm not sure he can.
Okay. So I just want to get a yes or no question. Trump will have a very difficult time if the economy tanks.
Yes, he has a difficult time.
There is a load of investment coming from overseas right now. Money is pounding into our Treasury and also into Wall Street because we're the only place that's really performing because of American freedom. Yes or no?
Not the only place, but one of the few places on Earth where you can make money is America.
Do you agree that companies and the banks, if somebody says, I'm going to change the free market system to more of a planned economy and, oh, by the way, I'm going to break up all these banks, that would cause a significant impact on what those companies do with their money. And if they thought that person might win, that they would go into, kind of a protection position, which would not be good for the stocks and companies.
Flight of capital and hoarding of profits will lead to unemployment tripling.
Correct. So don't the Democrats have a reason to hire somebody. I mean, you want to talk about a short walk or a long walk on a short pier to socialism by just really spooking the markets. Whoever that person is, Elizabeth Warren is an easier candidate perhaps to defeat, but she will spook the markets and companies so much that it could really impact the economy, which would really hurt Donald Trump, because she'll blame it on him. She'll blame it on capitalism and everything else, when indeed it would be a reaction to her.
I don't believe she has that kind of power.
Even if she is the candidate?
No.
Wow.
I think that the smart money will say she has no chance. She's George McGovern.
That would be great.
Well, I know Aunt Mimi will vote for her, but I don't know too many other people who actually are working for a living that are supporting Elizabeth Warren.
I don't know.
I really,
myself,
I mean, outside of Cambridge, Massachusetts, and Beverly Hills, California, the regular folks, they don't want a socialist in there. They just don't.
All right, we're back with Bill O'Reilly. We got to go to the Supreme Court and the border, what's happening there, and the Supreme Court on refugees. Looks like they backed the president. What does this mean? And don't forget, his new book comes out. What is it called again here? The United States of Trump. It comes out on the 24th. How the president really sees America. It's very insightful. It comes out now. Order it.
You're listening to Glenn Beck.
Welcome to Mr. Bill O'Reilly. Bill, let's spend a few more minutes here just for a second on guns. The press and the Democrats owe America an explanation. Just 12 months ago, they were telling us no one's coming for your guns. Now all of them on stage are talking about coming for our guns. At the same time, they say we can't round up 20 million, Americans who are just good people, law-abiding citizens. They seem to be able to round up 21 million guns from, I guess, terrorists, as they would view these people that have these guns. How are they planning on doing this? And is anybody ever going to recognize, hey, you just told us you weren't for gun confiscation. Now you're saying, yeah, we are going to do it.
Well, look, all of these Democratic candidates for president have to run to the ultra left. You can't have anybody in there who isn't a crazy leftist on the stage. Last night, Biden said that every person in the world who applies for asylum in America should be allowed into the country.
That's craziness.
We're talking, 50 million people all over the country, even more. If everybody in China could get over here. Well, I don't want to live in a communist China. They're going to shoot me. So, and then Biden also said, no one who commits a nonviolent crime should be in prison. Well, the burglars all celebrated, hey, that's good. We'll just break into everybody's house. It's nonviolent. We don't have to go to prison. Joe Biden said it. So what I'm trying to get across is no matter what they say, it doesn't mean anything. The only way that gun confiscation could happen is if both houses of Congress passed a law that listed certain firearms that were not allowed to be in the United States of America. Immediately, that would be challenged constitutionally, immediately. And 7 years from now, maybe we'd have some definition. But Congress is never going to do that as long as there's a Republican Party.
All right, let's talk about the Supreme Court. Supreme Court this week ruled in favor of Donald Trump. Tell me the ramifications.
Okay, so what the case was that the Trump administration says we have a crisis on the border because millions of people are trying to get in here and claim asylum, and once they put foot on our soil, they can stay in America as long as it takes for their asylum case to be heard in the courts, and that could be 3-4 years. So we can't, as a country, absorb millions of people, theoretically, who are going to claim asylum. That makes sense to everybody, right?
Yeah.
You just can't.
Yeah.
So the Trump administration says, in order for an asylum seeker to have any credibility with the government, you have to claim asylum in the first foreign country you get to. So therefore, if you're in Honduras, the first foreign country you get to in your seeking of asylum is Guatemala.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got to apply there for asylum. If things are so bad in Tegucigalpa, then you want to maybe Guatemala help you. But anyway, that's the first step. You got to do it. If you're in Guatemala, first step is you got to apply for asylum in Mexico. So that cuts down all the cases that we have to immediately adjudicate on asylum.
And it makes it easy for us to be able to say, did you apply for asylum in the first country you got? No, I didn't. Okay, go home. We don't have to have a court hearing.
You can't apply here unless you do that. So the Trump administration made that rule. And immediately a leftist judge said, oh, no, you can't make that rule. It's unconstitutional. Immediately. And then the Supreme Court heard it and said 7-2, which surprised me. 7-2. No, the administration has the power to make a rule about asylum if the administration sees a threat to the country. And obviously there's a threat to the country because all these children wouldn't be separated from their parents and they wouldn't be sleeping on the floor if tens of thousands of them didn't overwhelm our facilities on the southern border. Our facilities are overwhelmed. Our courts are overwhelmed. That obviously is a huge problem that the Supreme Court recognized and said, no, the federal government has to take steps to mitigate the problem. So it was a logical ruling, certainly within the Constitution, but it just shows you the madness of Biden last night. Biden said anybody who gets here, anybody, and says, I want asylum, should be allowed to live here as long as it takes. Anybody. You can't absorb, the country cannot absorb that many people. We're $22 trillion debt now. And then everyone on the stage would give all of those people free health care. All of them.
What happens when the Democrats pick a candidate and they're going head to head and now they have to go back to the center? What happens to their base?
Well, Biden, their base. Okay. See, Biden will be able to do that easy.
Yes.
But the others won't. If Warren or Sanders, and they're the only three that have a chance, just Biden, Warren, and Sanders. That's it.
And let's be honest, Sanders doesn't have a chance. Doesn't have a chance.
No, I agree with you. You agree with me. He's out. Warren, she can't backtrack, but Biden could. Now, your question is, what about this far left base? There aren't that many of these people. The reason that we deal with this every single day of our lives is because of the media. The media trumpets them, spotlights them. But as far as numbers are concerned, you just read the numbers. What is climate change number 18 on the list? It's 6%, 7%. It's the media that propels this far left socialist movement into the forefront. And then the conservative media overreacts to them, all right, because they are unbelievably dopey and threatening and a problem. I said Elizabeth Warren is dangerous. She is. So the combination of the enabling by the mainstream media and the reaction from the conservative media means it's all far left all the time.
All right, your new book comes out a week from Tuesday, and it's How the President Really Sees America, and you really explain where he's coming from, how he got to his thinking process in a way that I think is very helpful. I mean, the media, every member of the media should read this because you would start to understand the president. You'll never, necessarily agree with him because of reading your book, but you will look at that and go, okay, I can see how he got there. I can see how he thinks.
But Beck, they don't want to understand.
No, I know that. I know
Trump.
that.
They want to hate him.
No, I know that.
I mean, come on.
I know. Every responsible...
For the regular American who loves his or her country, don't you really want to know how Trump pulled this off? Where there's only one other person that might have been able to do this, that's Oprah Winfrey, all right? How on earth did he get to be president? How? Don't you really want to know that?
No, you see, I tell you, I think that's a bad spin of the book. I want to know how this president arrives at the conclusions that he arrives at, why he acts the way he does.
Okay,
and I think that does answer the how, but
Beck,
that's not really the point of your book.
There are 2 points of the book.
No, there's one.
How he pulled it off, which is absolutely factual history.
Yes.
And his brilliance in formulating a philosophy that allowed him to win. And how he arrived at all of the things that he's done. Now, it's not a pro-Trump book in the sense that I'm not boostering him. I'm saying this is how he sees America.
I don't know what book you wrote and which one I read, because what I got out of the book was how he sees things and how he arrived at those things, not his policies or anything else. But when he does
it's not a policy book.
When
Look,
he does,
you and I we're agreeing. It's just that the wording is different.
Yeah, when you look
understand, if you want to know the history of your time, the time that you're living in, you got to understand how Donald Trump pulled this off and how he thinks.
Yeah, how he thinks is fascinating, and the questions that you asked, I thought were very brave, and I wish he would have been more forthcoming on some of them. But you did.
But I got his son.
I know you got
his son.
I know.
Filled in the blanks that he didn't want to answer.
All right, so here's a question on his son, and it's on Barron. I think that this whole vaping thing is because Melania caught Barron or one of Barron's friends vaping.
Now, do you have anything to base
None.
on?
No, that's absolute nothing. Nothing to back that up.
Look, Barron Trump, you got to feel sorry for the kid. He's shadowed by Secret Service every second of his life. All right? It's not like he can go out and skateboard down Pennsylvania Avenue. All right, so he's not vaping, Beck.
Okay, okay, so help me out. This is what I'm really asking you. Help me out. Where did this come from?
The vaping thing?
Yes.
It's just basically Trump is a Puritan, and I'm sure you picked this up from reading the book.
Oh, yeah.
He's a Puritan about drinking, about drugging, and about smoking. Trump didn't want any part of that. He's never done any of it. That's one thing that Trump and I have in common. I've never been drunk. I've never used a drug, and I've never smoked. All right? And Trump is like a fanatic about those things, and there's a reason, and it has to do with his older brother.
Well, both of you have missed some really good times and some very needed blackouts.
I'm doing all three right now.